How's it going, everyone? Today we got a story time of a Skibidi Toilet obsessed kid who actually ends up almost completely burning down the subscriber's house over his Skibidi Toilet obsession. I know that sounds insane, and you're thinking, how is that even possible? Let me just tell you that it is, and you'll have to listen to find out. So leave a like on the video right now. Claim your free nothing. Subscribe to the channel if you were new and like stories. With that being said, let's just jump right into it. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Sam. So anyways, Sam had a friend who we're going to call Ben. And Sam and Ben were super close. They were boys. They've known each other for a really long time. They were going into the 4th grade, and over the summer of 3rd grade, which was last summer for them, they actually ended up not really seeing each other that much. So normally Sam and Ben would always see each other over the summer. They just didn't live that far away from each other, so they didn't really have that many excuses not to hang out. And of course, they really liked hanging out too. However, this summer was going to be a little bit different because Sam's family had a planned trip to go to someplace, I don't know, Florida, Europe, I don't even know. Someplace that was far away, and they were planning to go there to stay with relatives or to vacation with relatives, I don't know, for the entire summer. So for the first time in a long time, Sam and Ben are not going to spend the summer together. Anyways, Sam has a really good time during his vacation over the summer, and eventually he comes back when it's time for school. So Ben, what was Ben up to during the summer? I've had a couple other videos, actually several other videos at this point, of kids who've been infected with the nefarious and very dangerous Skibidi Toilet virus. Yes. So if you're a little bit confused, maybe you're shaking your head, and when I say, do you know what the Skibidi Toilet virus is, I will let you know what it is. So there is this video, or a series of videos, the Skibidi Toilet videos. And so many kids, and a lot of them started becoming infected over the summer, became infected with the Skibidi Toilet virus. And that is where a kid will only watch Skibidi Toilet videos every single day. That's the only thing that they'll do. That's the only thing that they will consume. They will just watch and watch and watch more and more Skibidi Toilet videos. And kind of to the point where it's the only thing that they'll watch. It's the only thing that they'll talk about. The only song that they'll listen to when they have the earbuds in it's like the Skibidi bop bop bop. Yes, that kind of song. Yes, that's the only thing that they'll listen to. They'll actually slowly become insane because the only thing that they'll ever want to do, talk about, do anything with is the Skibidi Toilet videos. Unfortunately, guys, Ben caught a case of the Skibidi Toilet virus, and it was a bad case, a real bad case. So, yeah, let's just say that when Sam got back from his vacation and was going back to school and was, pretty excited because he was excited to see his friend again. He was thinking, oh, well, I'm going to see my buddy again, so life's going to be good. Well, let's just say that he was a little bit caught off guard by, what was about to happen. Yeah, so sure enough, Sam gets back, and he is greeted, and he sees Ben. So on the first day of school, he sees Ben, and he's like, hey, man, how was your summer? And Ben was like, good. And Ben was like, oh, what did you do over the summer? And Sam was like, oh, I went to insert location. I had a lot of fun. But, I kind of miss, just hanging out with you back here, running around, in the mall, chilling in the forest, going down to the park and throwing rocks in the creek. I missed all that stuff. You did all that stuff, right? And Ben looks at him. Because the truth is, Ben did not do any of that stuff. You know what Ben did all day? He sat at home on his iPad. Okay, it wasn't an iPad. This is a very important detail for the story. It wasn't an iPad. It was a kind of it wasn't a knockoff brand. I don't want to say that. That sounds bad. But it was definitely a much kind of lower quality version. Kind of to the point where it was it sounds like this is a ridiculous detail, but this is extremely important, so I'm trying to get the point home. It functioned as an iPad or one of those kind of tablet type things, but it was definitely more questionable quality. Anyways, that sounds like I'm just dunking on them. I'm really not. Who cares? Dude, I was working with like an iPhone 4 back when like the iPhone 8 came out, and that was the norm, was to have like an iPhone 7. So I get it, bro. Like, I'm not dunking on you. It's just a really important detail for later. Trust me. Trust me on that one. Anyways, he was just sitting on his tablet all day watching Skibidi Toilet videos. That's all he was doing. He was either watching the main episodes or the song or just compilations or just remixes or memes. That's all he was doing all day. He had a terrible case of the Skibidi Toilet virus. So Ben was like, yeah, sure. Because he's not going to openly admit yet that that's what he's doing. So anyways, Sam's pretty excited that his friend is back, and he's excited to be back. And, they had the first week of school, and Ben's case of Skibidi Toilet virus is not like some of the other ones where they can only communicate in Skibidi Bops, but where it's like, the teacher might be like, oh, Jimmy, do you have your homework? And Jimmy's just like, Skibidi Bop, 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 yes, question mark? No. Thankfully, he doesn't have that case, because that is when you go nonverbal. And you are verbal, but you're essentially nonverbal if the only thing you can communicate with is in Skibidi Bops, as if you're like a Skibidi Toilet Pokemon or something stupid. Anyways, so sure enough, the week goes by, things are pretty normal, and Sam doesn't think that much of it. So Sam is like, hey, man, like, do you want to come over for a sleepover this Friday? And Ben's like, yeah, dude, like, it's been a long time. Let's do it for sure. So at this point, Sam has no reason to think that there's going to be anything wrong or anything weird. In previous story times where I've told stories about kids who have like Skibidi Toilet's disease, it's a little bit more obvious, if that makes sense. Like, it definitely stands out a bit more. Like, people are a bit suspicious. They're either very blatantly being weird, or there's just a few things that are just weird about them. Anyways, though, nothing was like clearly wrong with Ben. So anyways, Sam was pretty excited because, as I said earlier, these two were really close before. These were the boys. They were really close. So Sam was pretty excited to have Ben over. Anyways, let's skip ahead to the day of the sleepover. So the sleepover happens, and Sam is, waiting for Ben to pull up, and eventually Ben does pull up, and Ben's pretty excited, or Sam's pretty excited, and Ben appears to be pretty excited too. So it used to be, however, that at these sleepovers, they would do a lot of different things together. There's some video games that they would play. There was some videos that they'd watch. But they'd also go and like walk down to the mall that was nearby both of them and just kind of like mess around in there. Sometimes terrorize some of the people a little bit, messing with them a little bit. Sometimes they go down to the park and there was a river that they throw rocks into. So there was a forest that was nearby. Sometimes they would kind of like play make believe in there or something. They would come up with something. Like or at least they used to be at a minimum, very like outdoorsy, just doing stuff, messing around, kind of like how kids should be, man. I'm definitely like a little worried about like the iPad generation, and that doesn't mean like if you're watching on an iPad, I'm worried about you. It's like, no, who cares, bro? Like, I used to have an iPad, like an iPad mini, but at the same time, man, like I still went out and did stuff. Like I'm not condoning like messing with people in the mall. I'm saying that's the example of doing something, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just a little worried in general, but yeah, this never used to be a problem. So Sam, understandably, was kind of expecting that this was going to be run-of-the-mill, this was going to be usual, and that he was going to expect a very standard sleepover. So anyways, once they get there, Ben is like, has his backpack, he walks in through the door. Sam's mom is like so excited to see him, being like, oh my God, it's been so long, like, it's so good to see you. And, Ben's like, oh, like, yeah, it's been way too long. Like, missed, like, Sam and you guys when you were out on your vacation this summer. It's good to see you guys again. Anyways, though, so Sam and Ben see each other and they go up to Sam's room. They've had many sleepovers before, so it's kind of just like, oh, yeah, I know where his room is. I'll just walk up there. And so they go up there, and Ben puts his backpack down on Sam's bed, and Sam's like, oh, yeah, I was thinking we could do this, and then we could go to the mall, and we could go down to the creek, and then when it got dark, we could come back, and I got Lego Star Wars and the Wii, and then we could kind of listening through a long list of things. And Ben is like half paying attention. And this is like the first weird thing. Like, bro was only like half paying attention here. Yeah, so at this point, Ben was, rummaging through his backpack, and it was a little bit strange. And Sam was a little bit confused why Ben was rummaging through his backpack like that. and almost like he was like searching for something. And then Ben's like, aha, and he finds it, and he pulls out his tablet. And remember, as I said before, there was a detail that I went in on, and you guys were probably a little bit confused, and I'm just going to reiterate it. You guys are still going to be really confused, but it's going to make sense later. Anyway, so Ben pulls out his tablet, which is a little bit junky. It's a little bit questionable where he got it from. And by the way, I used to have really old technology when my friend said new technology. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a really important detail for later on. Trust me, okay? I'm not just being a jerk. Anyway, so he pulls out his tablet. He's like, dude, I got to show you this. And, Sam's like, okay, sure. Because in Sam's head, he was ready to, go out on the block and go down to the mall because they only have so many hours of daylight. And he's not trying to throw rocks in the stream or really walk around to the mall or anything in the dark. He was kind of had some stuff. He had some stuff planned. He's like, okay, so this is a daytime activity. This is a nighttime activity. And the daytime activity's got to happen when we got light. But the nighttime activities, that's afterwards. And I don't know, being on the tablet definitely was an after dark type activity, at least in Sam's mind, which definitely makes a lot of sense, especially with all the things that he wanted to do that needed daylight. But also Sam wasn't going to be like, this isn't part of the schedule, put that away. Like, dude, it's a sleepover. He also knows this is simply not that deep. However, though, Ben pulls out his iPad. He's like, dude, or his tablet. He's like, dude, you need to see this right now. And he sits on the bed and he starts playing a video. Can you guess the video, guys? It goes something along the lines of skibidi bop bop bop, yes, yes, skibidi bop bop beep beep, yep. Okay, you guys already know where we're going. So at this point, Sam's pretty confused because he's seen this once and he was like, what the hell? And he just doesn't watch any more of it. But he's watching it. He's like, okay, dude, this is interesting, I guess. I don't really know what's going on. Can't really say I understand fully what's going on here. Yeah, so sure enough, the subscriber is kind of confused. Sam's definitely a little bit confused. Not super sure how he's supposed to react to Skibidi Bop, Beep Bop, Bop marathon type things. And he's just watching. He's like, okay, dude, when do you want to go to the mall? He's like, oh, after I show you this video. Plays another Skibidi Toilet video. Everyone's kind of just, everyone meaning is Sam, is kind of just waiting around at this point. And I don't know, it's just getting very boring and annoying. And so they're watching not on the YouTube app, but they're watching on some kind of web browser, but watching YouTube on a web browser. So then all of a sudden what Ben starts doing is whenever he plays a new video, he opens up a new tab, which is, if you don't know, especially if you're using Chrome or something, every new tab you open up takes up a lot of memory storage, whatever, computing power. I'm a math major, not a computer scientist, man. I don't really know what's going on. Anyways, though, so yeah, sure enough, the subscriber is kind of just his eyes are starting to glaze, and then he looks at the time, and it's 4:50 in the afternoon. Or it's even later. I don't know. It's all I'm trying to say is daylight's starting to lose. And he already realizes they can't do all the things that he wants to do outside. I mean, he was kind of cutting it close anyways. He had a long list of things he wanted to there's a long list of things he wanted to do with his friend that he hasn't seen in such a long time. But now he definitely is sure that they can probably only do maybe one of the things he wants to do. So Sam's like, dude, look, come on. We gotta go out and do, I really want to go out and do one of these things, and we got to do it when it's light outside, and it's not going to be light outside for long, and come on, man, I know you like these videos, but we'll have plenty of time to watch these videos when we get back. Don't you want to go down to the creek and throw rocks? And Ben's like, yeah, okay, I guess. And he leaves his tablet playing. He's like, I'm just going to let these videos play. And he turns on every single video on every single tablet. And you just hear this disgusting cacophony of skibidi bop bop bop, yes, yes, but just playing in 1,000 different remixes and pitches and from a bunch of different tabs. It's just not great. And, honestly, this whole time, Sam is just so confused the appeal for any of this at all. Yeah, so sure enough, the subscriber eventually is able to convince Ben to leave the room. They leave as the iPad is playing. And little does Ben know, or little does either of them, Sam, Ben, Sam's parents, anyone, little do they know what is about to happen next. Which, as you can tell by the title of the story, you guys are probably like, is the title unrelated to the story? No, it is the correct title. The beginning of this episode was not clipped from another one. Yes, just wait, be patient, it's about to come. Real quick though, if you made it this far into the video, comment toilet down below. That'll be the secret word of the day so I can see how many people made it this far into the video, and I just want to say thank you for making this far. And yeah, also comment what you're doing while watching these videos. I've been asking that recently and I'm genuinely curious. And for those who don't know, the best way to support the channel is to be binge watching these videos. Basically, just watch multiple of these videos in a row, put them on while you're doing something. If you're going to sleep, maybe put on one of the compilations or the 12 Days of Pugs, which last night's 12 Days of Pugs, there's a rendering error, so it's going to come out tonight. You're going to get the full 12 days. It's going to be 1 day delayed. It was already kind of delayed anyways. You're getting all of them. Don't worry about it. If you're finally, if you're listening on Spotify, please make sure you rated the podcast 5 stars and you followed it. And with that being said, let's figure out how this spoiled Skibidi Toilet Kid burns down the subscriber's house. Yeah, so anyways, they start walking down to the park that was near their house, which by the park, there's this kind of river. If you go down, take a left, you go down the field and go around there, there's a riverbed. And they would normally throw rocks there as a kid and talk about stuff. But something was just kind of different this time. Sam could tell that, like, Ben was distracted. And why was Ben distracted? Well, it's because he wanted to go back and listen to more Skibidi Toilet videos. That's all he wants to do now. But Sam was very much determined that they were going to get to the lake, they were going to throw rocks, and that whatever trance that Ben is in from this Skibidi Bop toilet stuff, like, he's going to be broken out of it, and it's going to go back to what life was like before. So they get down there, and it's just so apparent that Ben is just so distracted. And Sam starts, they sit down there, there's a bunch of, like, pebbles, whatever, he starts throwing some in. Ben doesn't even throw rocks in anymore. He's just kind of just sitting there staring off into space. And Sam is, like, trying to, like, probe him and talking about stuff, but he's kind of like, yeah, sure, Yeah, just, like, very dead convo. Very clearly, he just wants to go back. So after about, like, 5 minutes, Sam's like, all right, let's just go back. And Ben's like, he, like, perks up. He's like, oh, more Skibidi Toilet. Oh, so they all start to, like, Ben almost, like, power walks back to the house, which is insane, by the way. And honestly, like, just to take a second before the big reveal, which is about to happen, I do want to say that this is actually kind of this isn't just limited to kids with Skibidi Toilet Syndrome, but sometimes, like, there's things you used to do with your friends, and this happened to me several times in my childhood, and I'm sure it's the other way around for me and some of my other friends, right? Where, you used to do something every single time, and eventually you kind of just collectively grow out of it, but you still want to do it, but your friend just isn't into it anymore, and it's sad, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have gone through that, and it's sad, and I just want to say that I'm not sad about it anymore. What I'm trying to say is you'll grow to find something else that's interesting. The transition period is sad, I'm not going to lie, and even when it's not over dumb stuff like Skibidi Toilet, like, oh, my friend wasn't obsessed with something stupid, he just liked other things, right? And it can be a little tough. You might be like, oh, well, then what are we going to do together? Look, if you're friends, you'll figure it out. Like, you'll figure it out. You'll have a good time together no matter what. And I know it's sad, and I know some of you guys, especially some of the younger ones who are going through it right now with that. It's common. It happened to actually everyone, especially if you have a lot. Oh, if you have a lot of friends like me as a kid, I was so popular. No. What I'm trying to say is it happens. You're going to be sad for a second, but trust me, it only gets better from here. Anyways, Wholesome Connor needs to go away so I can give you the end of this video. Anyways, they're going back to the house, and, Sam's a little bit annoyed by everything. And Ben is so excited to go back to his Skibidi Toilet videos, whatever. So they go into the house, and Sam's parents are downstairs, and they're both in, like, the living room. They start walking up to Sam's bedroom, and you hear this kind of smoky smell, like this smoky smell coming from Sam's bedroom. And they're both kind of like, what? They open it up. Ben's tablet has basically exploded. it's caught on fire because he was playing a billion Skibidi Toilet videos and it just couldn't handle it. That's why I had such emphasis on why it was kind of a crappy knockoff tablet that basically would catch on fire if it went too hard. Yeah, so immediately Sam and Ben start screaming. Sam's parents run upstairs. They see, like, it isn't like the whole room is on flames, but there are some, like, there's some smoke. There's, like, a little fire going or something. So immediately, fire department's called. Sam's dad runs down, gets out the fire extinguisher, starts blowing it in all directions, whatever. By the time the fire department comes, the fire is mostly good. They go through the room to make sure that everything is, there's no active flames or anything. I think they douse, like, water or some flame repellent type thing. I don't know. They go through to make sure that it actually isn't, like, when you're not supposed to throw out, like, a match, even if it doesn't have a flame anymore, until you run it underwater, just because there might be a flame. You can't see something along the same lines. So at this point, like, for Ben, he's lost his tablet because it exploded because he played too many Skibidi Toilet videos. It's so funny to me. I'm sure it sucks for him, but that was just so funny. So they're now forced. The silver lining here is for the rest of the sleepover, Ben was now forced to not listen to Skibidi Toilet videos, but to do the stuff that they used to do. And they actually had a pretty good time. Sure, afterwards, Ben went back home and he started watching Skibidi Toilet again. But for a moment, Sam was able to have his friend back, even if it was just for a moment. And even if it was because he almost had his entire house burned down over Skibidi Toilet syndrome. Even if it was for that, he had his friend back for a moment, and that's all that mattered. Click on the video on screen right now if you want to support the channel, and peace.